Hello everybody. I'm presenting a second video about this full moon in Gemini. I did the first one before the Paris attacks, and now it felt very important in Gemini fashion to give the other side of things now after Paris, an event that really has changed things now deeply in our world. First thing I would really want to say is my heart feels very sad for what's happening, very sad with the immigration crisis that is probably going to escalate, and I just wish to say to all the people affected by terrorism everywhere in the world, everywhere, something has to change. And I've been talking about these mutable energies coming up during 2016 very strongly. And at the time of this full moon, we have what I call the energies of the mutable cross. So we've got the sun is in Sagittarius. The moon always at the time of a full moon is always opposite. So we've got the moon in Gemini. We've also got Mercury here in Sagittarius, and we've also got Saturn here also in Sagittarius, all opposing this energy of the full moon in Gemini. We've also got, making T-square to this aspect, is Neptune up here, completely different vibration up here in Pisces. I put Neptune at the top because I live in hope and a dream that we can have a world eventually that will be peaceful, where we no longer have to live in fear of one another or in fear of what might happen. When we live in fear, we cannot really be our true selves, our true caring selves. It's just not a place. Having lived in fear for much of my life, much of which I'm writing about now in my autobiography, I know how deeply this feels and how much we do I've got so much I need to share about this, and I will be sharing about this in my 2016-17 predictions, what I'm seeing as well for this coming year, and I'm working on that right now, so I hope you'll watch out for that too, because I'll go into a lot more detail than I have time for in this particular video. But this felt really urgent and important to present to you. So we've got Neptune up here in Pisces, and then we've also got Jupiter. Now Jupiter in Virgo, not making an exact degree. Yes, these guys are at 3 degrees, but this is not. The Jupiter's, I think, around 20 degrees. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm just working from memory here, guys. And look at this. I've gone and lost my microphone. You see, you have to be... there we are. You have to be ready to change on a dime. We've got mutable cross, okay, mutable signs, and new mutable signs. You'll know what this means. So there's a tremendous restlessness happening in the planet. There's a tremendous need to move, to change, to see things differently. So, all this energy in Sagittarius, and I've been talking about Saturn in Sagittarius. I've got a video out on that I produced a while ago, many months ago. But Sagittarius, it rules religion. It rules your perspective on the world. It also would rule spirituality. But particularly with Saturn in Sagittarius, as I said, we're going to see huge issues around religion, around immigration, around borders. And with this moon here, sitting alone here in Gemini, we've got an opportunity now to, with an opposition, to see things differently. To see a situation differently. Gemini rules language. Isn't it amazing that in a language, one syllable in a word completely changes its meaning? Completely. For example, just to give you a little example in Greek, Malaka means soft, smooth. Malaka means bastard, or something not so very nice. Tiny intonation. So a tiny intonation, have you noticed this? Somebody can say something to you and just the intonation changes and your whole reaction and vibration is different. So what are we reacting to? How are we reacting to what's happened? Of course, there's going to be polarities, huge polarities. Saturn and Mercury are conjunct at the time of this moon. So we're going to see powers that be look to try to solve this situation in the same way. Has it worked so far? Have the events since 2001, we've had London bombings, Madrid bombings, we've terror everywhere. Ireland, look, that went on for years and years. In my youth, we used to have IRA bomb threats everywhere. This terror has been with us since time immemorial. It's just that the terror now spreads because of the power that we have with our internet, the power that we have. But how are we going to use this power? And this mutable cross, these energies of the mutable, is asking us, how are we going to force ourselves maybe to change our minds, to see another perspective, to respect another perspective? And how can we move towards this world where Neptune is the most powerful here? Neptune is in rulership. Neptune wants to dissolve boundaries. Saturn wants to put them up. Hey, you keep out. This is mine. This is not yours. You can't come here. It's not safe if you come here. I don't feel safe. Look at the bullying. Look at all these things. How can we feel safe with one another? It was amazing when so many, I have lots of friends in Vienna, Austria, many refugees came there at one time in one hit. And it wasn't until people sat down with the people. We sit down and we talk to these people. And we become our brothers and our sisters. Oh, there's so much to say. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel so sad right now. Je suis vraiment très triste. J'adore la France. J'adore tout qui est français. Je suis très triste, mais c'est pas que la France, c'est le monde. It's all our world now. It's everybody. And we have the power now to change this. It's not an easy transition. Boy, if you've chosen to be alive now during this shift, it's a difficult transition. But because of the mutable energy, I am seeing hope. I know I've spoken about the Pope. I've spoken about his softer energy and that he will create changes, some of which will be very difficult for others to accept within the Catholic Church. But we will also see some other softer leaders coming through. We're going to see more softness. And what I'm just asking at the time now, when I look at this full moon in Gemini with the mutable energy, how can we change? How can we allow ourselves to adapt to change with things that are happening? Not to have rigid views. Try not to go into the Saturn, Mercury, rigid thinking. Let's try to look at truly what I feel most of us want on this planet, which is love and peace on earth. If somebody hurts you, and this is happening in our personal relationships as well. Oh, you hurt me. All right. Well, I'll either hit you back or I'll steel myself. I'll try, I'll hold it in, and then there's all this anger. How are we going to now come up with new ideas? Gemini, different ways, new ideas as to how to solve the differences between us. Gemini rules the hands, the arms. I'm just going to say, let's reach out our hands, our arms to one another. I really pray for this. I reach out to you. Let's work together. What solutions can we come up with? Please comment. Please. I'm open for solutions. Let's see how together we can handle this immigration refugee crisis differently. All All of us, in some depth of our history, have a history of a family member who has been a refugee, who has been homeless, who has had to leave their country. All of us somewhere, if you go far enough back. Let's get in touch with those emotions and let's see if we can come up with some different solutions. Things are coming to a head, but remember, this Neptune is in Pisces. It does want us to dissolve our boundaries. It does want us to find ways to create compassion and love for one another. I realise it's a long video and I hope you'll forgive me for expressing so much, but there was so much I felt I had to share, so much feeling and emotion I have, and let's do something together. Let's create creative solutions. That's what I feel all this mutable energy is giving us an opportunity to create. Thanks for listening. I'm reaching both my arms out to you, hugging you, loving you. Let's try to keep that as our focus. No more protecting one another from one another, but how can we merge? How can we connect with one another?